All right, welcome back everyone to the Athlete's Mind podcast. Really excited for this interview because it's a bit of a full circle moment here on Athlete's Mind. The first ever interview here on the podcast was actually Kaden Harbour, so a bit of a long time coming with this one. Kaden Harbour joins us today from South Freo Football Club. Obviously, you have just gone through surgery, but we want to talk a little bit about, your footy career so far and your plans with the rehab and all that. But first of all, how are you and how has the lead up been going into the 2025 season?
Yeah, firstly, thanks for bringing me in here, mate. It's good. The lead up, before, I guess, all surgery happened, it was good fun. New coaches, big playing group, getting along real well. And, I guess this just a little setback, but nothing major.
And how is the rehab? What are you trying to do to kind of get back to get back into fitness and get back to playing? Obviously, it'll be a while, but what are you kind of doing at the moment?
Yeah, so at the moment, the physios down at South, they're real good. Got a good surgeon straight in. And for now, I'm just resting a bit. Little movements within my knees and ankle. But that's all I can do now. Can't really sweat. Still got stitches in, and that's all I can do for this moment, yeah.
Now, we like to start our interviews in a similar way for everyone we get on here, just to get a bit of a backstory for those who might not know, where did your footy journey actually start? I know that it started a bit later. I think you were playing rugby before, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess how did the interest spark in getting into footy? And obviously there's no regrets. You obviously had a very good point now, but where did that whole journey start?
So played rugby, basically. I played a little bit of Auskick down at Jandakot. Then I ended up moving and playing rugby. I went to Arramore with Bailey and that. And then I guess year 10, moved schools and played in Naranda Junior Football Club. That was good fun. We won a flag, Division 3 or C that year.
Yeah.
So that was really good. But, we had players like Jaden Peake, he's at East Perth League, Jordan Baker back at East Perth, but he was with West Coast. So we had it's a good team. But I guess that's where it started. And then East Perth the next year, and then from then on.
Yeah. When you first started playing, was it more just a bit of fun? Did you actually know, I can actually take this somewhere, or?
No, I definitely didn't know that.
Yeah.
I think it definitely was a bit of fun. I think all my mates at school played it, so I thought I'd join in with them, and I guess that's where I am now, yeah.
That's usually what ends up happening, whatever your mates are playing, you obviously want to play with them, so whether that's changing to a different sport, so yeah, it's interesting. Obviously you did play rugby before, but has there ever been any other sports you've kind of taken seriously compared to footy, or is it?
No, not really. I play Tuesday night basketball down at Coburn, and it's like a social basketball, but it does gets pretty heated in there, which is I don't think they like me too much down there. So it's good fun though. It's good.
Yeah, no, these are with some of the other footy boys.
Yeah, Parks players. Aaron Drage down at South Sea runs it all, and they're a bit ballers. Jermaine Pickett. They're all ballers, so and I'm not that good at basketball, so I just sit back.
Bit of fun, so that's all good. Now, on paper this year, if we're talking about South Freo, you guys are looking pretty good in the seniors. Does it feel like the group has been gelling well in the off-season and, setting you guys up for a successful year? Yeah,
definitely. So we got players like, obviously, JJ, Ethan Hughes, Hamish Free come back down, so that's awesome. Trey Rusco, he's built he's been a big part in this whole off-season. But then we have players like Fred Rodriguez and Jackson Artemis, Toby Wine, all coming up from the Colts, and they're setting such a high standard for us that we all got to keep level, and it's good that I guess the young boys are setting this standard.
Yeah.
So I guess in other years and I guess other teams, it's always been kind of divided, older, younger. But this year it's definitely all as one. Even the coaches are involved with all of us, so it's awesome.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of talent, especially with those younger guys. You mentioned Jackson Artemis and Fred Rodriguez. I've heard some good things about both of them, and there's many others as well coming through the ranks. So, that's pretty good. I guess, has there been any key focuses in the off-season you guys have been working on? There are some new players, and every season there's new people coming through, so to gel and all that. Is there any plays or anything you guys are looking to really do this year to improve?
Not overly focused on, I guess, players and what we want to do. I think it's more a lot of us are really talented, and we play off a lot of instinct. So you look at I guess Parks, big one. He plays off instinct, and I guess what Whitey's brought in, the new coach, is I guess he wants us to play off instinct. He wants our halfbacks to be able to do what they want, and midfielders to run amok in there, and I guess forwards in the end kick goal.
Exactly right. Well, I actually wanted to talk a little bit about leadership. This is something I really like to talk about on the podcast. Now, obviously, being an older brother, I guess leadership kind of comes a bit naturally to you. But a good mate of mine, Talon Rankin, he's actually just joined South Freo, and he was telling me that you have actually been a really good leader to him because he's also in the forward line. Really good to hear, and I always like hearing that guys are helping my mates out. Yeah. But how important is that to you to be a leader to some of the younger guys?
Well, I think at the start of the season, or pre-season, I chatted to Whitey about wanting in the future to become in the leadership group. And I guess I'm a bit young now and I'll work my way up. But I think leadership, you don't have to be in a leadership group to be a leader. You just got to set a standard. It's about talking, being able to talk to everyone, no matter if they're older or younger, and just being confident with it. So I think leadership is one of the biggest parts of footy and making a footy team. And if everyone can be a leader, then it sets a great footy team up. Yeah,
no, definitely. I like how you don't have to be in the leadership group to be a leader. At the end of the day, just use your voice, and clearly you're very good at that. So that's great to hear. Now I also wanted to ask you. Obviously, your brother is at East Perth.
Yeah.
Are you looking forward to potentially playing against your brother later this year when you get back? Because it seems like he's training well, could get a league game. So that'd be good to see.
He got to play the first scratching league, and that was his first taste of senior footy, and it was good. I wasn't able to watch because he was all the way in bloody Joondalup.
Yeah.
So, but no, I'm excited for what he has. He works hard, and he does put his head down. But I'm hoping within a year or so I can drag him over to South Freo.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, for sure. But then again, it'd be good to play with each other, but from my perspective anyway, I definitely want to see you guys, but especially because he's in the back line, you're in the forward, definitely be good to see. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about your draft. So, unfortunately, you did miss out on the draft in 2021, but going through that whole experience with the draft combine, state, even all the media buzz, like going on podcasts and all that, did that take a little bit of a mental toll on you, I guess, missing out on the draft? It can obviously be very frustrating when you're that close and you miss out. How did you kind of deal with all of that?
At that time, it was a really fun experience. I guess it got a bit ahead of me, and I kind of got a big head on me about it all. But after missing out, I guess I was a bit down for a bit there, and I ended up just not really wanting to play anymore. Went over to Freo CBC, played Amos footy there. But for now, I guess it's kind of a blessing. I've learned a lot of things. I've matured a little bit about it all. But got better at my footy. I don't know. I guess I don't really think about it that much anymore. At the time, I did a lot, but it's something that you just got to take on. And
that's footy at the end of the day. It's all learning, So it's like you said. You look back at it, and it is a blessing to you now. But fast forward a little bit, you ended up making the move from East Perth to South Freo. I'm interested to know, what was that move like? Moving from one club to another, and obviously, I guess maybe you didn't know some of the boys moving to South Freo. What was that whole experience like moving?
Yeah, so once I kind of didn't want to really play high level footy anymore, went to Freo CBC, and I knew a few boys down there, ended up loving it down there, and a lot of them, as a Drage was there for a bit, and he went back to South because he's always been from there, and I guess I just wanted to follow him. I wanted to stay with him, and Aiden Hall was there at the time. He's over at Claremont now, but those boys I was really close with at the time, and it was something new for me, and it worked out well, and South have been always real loving since I've got there.
That's great to hear. I also wanted to know, what was it like going against East Perth for the first time when you'd moved? I mean, regardless of, whether you've ended on good terms or bad terms of a club, versing your old club is, something exciting, and you always want to play well. So what was that like?
It was all right. I guess I got a bit cocky at times playing against him, and I think last year I played my worst game of the year against him.
Yeah.
But it happens, and I guess it's past me now, and from now on, I guess it's just another team in the end, yeah.
Now, I imagine that, and we were talking about this before the interview, I imagine that the mid-season draft was something that you were aiming for, and going through another setback like you've just gone through with the surgery, does that get quite frustrating, facing these setbacks?
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of boys always want to get drafted, and I guess this is what happens, and I thought I was going to have a good pre-season, and who knows what happens in the end, with, as we talked about, all the injuries in AFL teams and all that. But for a bit, it was really frustrating for the first or so week I did it, and even now that I can't do anything. But I guess when the time's right, if it ever happens, it will come along at the right time.
Yeah.
And that's what I just got to take on, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the right mentality to have. And, you know, like, you look at the AFL, there's so many different ways to make it. Like, obviously, the draft is a big one, and you miss out on your draft year. A lot of players do get down, and it can take a bit of a toll on them. But you look at some players, like, they're getting picked up when they're way older. Like, anything can happen. So I guess you really just have to stay consistent with it. So do you really take, like, mindset, like, quite seriously, and having a healthy mindset to kind of stay positive during things like this?
Yeah, and for now it's a bit hard to stay positive, I guess, but I have good support like Dales, who's a coach down with us, Whitey, and then you have players, I guess, like JJ has been through many injuries. Parks, he's a big one for me. He didn't get drafted till a bit later as well, or at least back over to in that mid-season. But they've always been good. Izzy's always been good, and I guess I got a good support system, especially my family too.
Yeah.
And that's the mindset I just got to have, is if it's meant to be, I guess it's meant to be.
Yeah.
And whatever happens, I'm happy at South anyway, so I guess that's where
exactly right.
I'll be, yeah.
And you'll be helping around, you know, around the club anyway, kind of keeping you active on game day training. So that's always good as well. Now, I did want to talk a little bit about mindset. So this is a question we always like to ask here on the podcast, and it's kind of, do you have any like routines that you like to run through before a game? Because I find it really interesting. Some players like to get hyped up. Some players kind of put their headphones in, lock in, and everyone has a different routine. But what does your routine look like on game day?
In the morning, I guess I like to just be on my own a bit, walk around. I'll go get a coffee or whatever. But once I'm in that locker room, it's vibes from there.
Yeah.
We turn the music up and we're doing fucking bloody dancing and all that. I remember when Manfred Kelly, he just left, but it was me and him and Izzy. We were music full volume and we're just making dance moves up, doing all step up and all that. It was real fun. So I guess it's what I like to be, a bit of a hype.
Lighten the mood.
Yeah, joke around a bit and lighten the mood, make everyone feel comfortable, and then I go out and play. Yeah.
No, nice, man. Is there any like superstitions you have? Like some people, I don't know, have to wear like the right socks, or is that you?
Yeah, I'm not very big superstitious. It just depends. Sometimes I'll have a certain thing in the morning, like if it comes to maybe a V or a Red Bull type of thing, and a coffee or avocado, I basically always got to have.
Yeah.
But besides that, I'm not really big superstitious. The night before, I don't really like lounging around. I'll go out for dinner, or I'll go see my mates and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll get home and that's really all it is.
And what about like your diet? Like I know obviously it's a big thing for footy players, like load up on carbs like the night before. Is there any meals you like to have the day before?
I think the same with everyone. I'm a big pasta person.
Yeah.
And that's the same with a lot of people. But I'm not really big on the whole routine, superstition kind of thing. I'll crack into a bit of a steak maybe, because I do love that.
Yeah.
And I guess that gets me in. Whatever I feel good. And I'll continue if I play good. And I guess I'll switch it up if I'm being terrible for a few weeks. Yeah.
No, most definitely. Now, also one thing that I'm curious to know is, you know, the footy season is quite long, especially going through the pre-season training and in-season. It can sometimes start to get a bit exhausting. I guess, is anything you like to do that kind of reassures you that, you know, if you are experiencing mental burnout, is any activities or things you like to do to take your mind off footy a little bit and kind of just reset and make sure you're good for the season?
Yeah, well, a big thing obviously is that Tuesday night basketball.
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing. It may be a little social thing, but it takes my mind off footy, and we're taking our action somewhere else and thinking about other things, trying to improve my jump shot. Yeah. And I'm still a brick anyway. So, but that stuff. Me and a few boys will head to the pub here and there.
Yep.
We'll have a few, just chill around, I guess, or we'll head over to Jermaine or Izzy's and we'll just sit around. That's what we do a lot. So, I guess it's being with mates. That's a big thing for us, and we're always together. And it's a big thing at the club as well. We always got to be together.
That's how you build the chemistry as well. So it's definitely a big one. Just going back to the basketball real quick. Are you do you run like point guard, or do you kind of run everywhere? Like
I think so. It's 5-on-5, and all 5 of us sit on the 3-point line, but none of us shoot threes. Aaron Drade, he's a baller. He makes every shot. He's a foul baiter too.
Yeah.
Parks is really good at mid-range shot, and he's getting better at his threes now. And then we have Jermaine, who's pretty good everywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of I foul a bit, get fouled out here and there, or I'll fly in for a rebound and that. But yeah, again, I'm pretty ass. So
No, that's all right, mate. Yeah, no, that's good. And just one last thing that I have for you is just talking a little bit about advice for some of the younger footy players. If you could give any advice to anyone listening now who, might be, going for the draft or even just playing a high level in their sport, what would you tell them and what advice would you give to them?
I think it's good to be 100% focused on wanting to play footy professionally, but I think you got to have your mind somewhere else. So for me, I guess I was all in on doing one thing, but then I missed out on the rest of my life, and it's not setting myself up. So if you could find, I guess some people don't like trades, being a tradie or something, or an apprentice, but if you could find a job or something that you dream of becoming, I reckon put that first and then focus on footy after that, because in the end, when you retire from your footy, whenever you are, then you'll have yourself set up. So for me, yeah, and I see it a lot when people that say get delisted or they don't actually get drafted, they're just sitting around. They don't have a lot of things to do. And yeah, a big thing I reckon is just putting your focus on somewhere else, even if it's studying for a little bit, or if it's finding your dream job to actually do it instead of just thinking about it, and letting it come to you.
Yeah, definitely. And I like that because even, if you are so fixated on, let's say, the draft, sometimes that can actually, affect you, like especially in your playing performance, because instead of focusing on that game, you're thinking about, November for the draft. So then that can actually affect your performance on the weekend. So yeah, I really like that. Some really good advice, man. I appreciate you coming on, Kaden. It's been a long time coming, and I wish you all the best for your surgery, man. Like I was saying, your brother, absolutely gutted for you, but these setbacks happen. You'll get back, and you'll be back better than ever with South. So
exactly. Thanks for that, mate. Yeah. Cheers.
No problem. Now, everyone listening, this will be on YouTube, our main platform, and also our podcast services, Spotify, Apple Music, all of that. Link will be down below. Follow us on the Instagram, and we'll catch you guys in the next episode of The Athlete's Mind. Thank you.